Hello friends, in today's video we are going to see some new topics related to our chapter. Okay, the chapter is networking. Okay, so we will proceed further. We can gain access to input and output stream associated with a socket that we were seeing yesterday in the previous session by use of the get input stream and get output stream methods like this. Okay, each can throw IO exception if the socket has been invalidated by loss of connection. Socket should be connected as well. These streams are used exactly like input output stream. Those get input stream and get output stream described in chapter previous. Okay, to send and receive data. Input stream, get input stream throws input output exception, returns the input stream associated with the invoking socket, and output stream, get output stream returns the output stream associated with the invoking socket. Okay, and it throw an IO exception when if the socket has been invalidated by loss of connection. Several other methods are available, including connect, which allows you to specify a new connection, each connection to check if the socket is connected or not to a server, is bound, which returns true if the socket is bound to an address or not, and it's closed, which returns true if the socket is already closed. So you have to remember these methods, and these are very simple methods. Now we will see the program that provides a simple socket example. It opens connection to WHOIS port, that is port number 43 on the inter NIC server, sends the command line argument down to the socket and then prints the data that is written. So what is the motto of this program? First of all, it opens a connection to port number 43, that is WHOIS port on the inter NIC server. Okay, sends the command line argument down to the socket and then prints the data. Inter-NIC will try to look up the argument as a registered internet domain name, okay, and then send back IP address and contact information for that site. Now that is the WHOIS class is created over here with the main. Then create a socket with inter-nic.net with the port number 43. Obtain output, input and output stream, get input stream, return input stream object, get output stream will return output stream object, and then construct a return string. Okay, args.length is equal to 0. If it is true, then it will search for osborne.com, otherwise args of 0. That is what is we are providing while running the program. Okay, then byte buffer string get bytes will return the bytes into byte array buffer. Then out.write buffer send request. Okay, read and display response. Unless we are reading it, in.read is not equal to -1 until response is read and end of file is not, end of output is not encountered, print the output. Okay, so what is the motto when we will run this program? Okay, so first of all, sends a command line argument down to the socket and then the prints the data. Okay, enter NIC server. Okay, so whenever we are giving the argument, it will find up that register, find it up as a registered internet domain name. Here what we are passing, osborne.com as a exception. Whenever we are passing any other thing as an argument, it will search for it on the internet and send back the IP address and contact information regarding that site. Okay, so send request is for send request is done using this function out.write buffer. Okay, and read response is in.read and display the output using system.out.println. Same as in input output streams we have handled. For example, you obtain information about osborne.com, you will get something similar to the following: WHOIS server version 1.3. Domain names in .com, .net and .org domains can now be registered with many different competing registrars. Okay, so what we will see now, in if you want to get details regarding this, we find out this. Okay. So domain name osborne.com, registrar network solution inclusive, whois server whois.networksolution.com, referral URL networksolution.com, name server this as ns1eppg.com and this one. Okay. So when we are searching for osborne.com, as an exception, when we are providing not any information regarding this, it will say, give you the output like this. Otherwise, whatever we are passing as a argument, that will be searched and its data will be returned. Okay. And what is the new thing? .com, .net and .org domains can now be registered with many different competing registrars. Okay. Next is URL. First, what is URL? First, a socket is constructed that specifies the host name, internic.net and port number 43. Okay. So socket is constructed with host name internic.net and port number 43, whois server. Internic.net is an internic website that handles whois request. Okay. Port 43 is the whois port, and both input and output streams are open on the socket. Then a string is constructed that contains the name of the site you want to obtain information about on internic. Next, if no website is specified on the command line, it will use the osborne.com as an exception. The string is converted into byte array and then sent out of the socket. Then it will read response by inputting from the socket, and the results are displayed using system.out.println. Okay. The example was rather obscure because the modern internet is not about the older protocols such as whois, finger, and FTP. Whois, finger, and FTP are older one, so that the previous example we have seen just now was rather obscure. It is about www, the World Wide Web. Web is a loose connection of higher level protocols and file formats until all unified in a web browser. Okay. Is a loose connection of higher level protocols. One of the most important aspects of the web is that Tim Berners-Lee devised a scalable way to locate all of the resources on the net. Okay. So that Tim Berners-Lee devised a scalable way, that is www, to locate all of the resources on the internet or World Wide Web. And web is a loose connection of higher level protocols and file formats. So all that you can see on a web browser. It can be Chrome, it can be Mozilla Firefox, or it can be anything. Once you can reliably name anything and everything, it becomes a very powerful paradigm. The uniform resource locator URL does exactly that. What you have to do, just you have to give the uniformly resource locator or address. That address will find out the file and it will be loaded on your PC. The URL provide a reasonably intelligible form to uniquely identify or address information on the internet. URLs are ubiquitous. Every browser uses them to identify information about on the web. Okay. Every browser have to have this URL address. If it does not have that address, it cannot locate anything on the web. Within Java's network class library, URL class provides a simple, concise API to access information on the internet using URLs. Okay. URL class, what URL class provide? A simple, concise API to access information across the internet using URL. All URLs share the same basic format, although some variation is allowed. So using URL, what you can do, access information on World Wide Web. www.osborne.com and www.com, osborne.com, atindex.html. URL has four components basically. First is the protocol to use, separated from the rest of the locator by a colon. Common protocols are HTTP, FTP, Gopher, and File. Although these days almost everything is being done via HTTP. Okay. Most routers will proceed correctly if you leave off the HTTP : / from your URL specification. Okay. There is a variation in HTTP. If it is a secure protocol, it will be HTTPS. Okay, that site will be secure and your data or your PC will not be hacked. And if you are using only HTTP, there is a question regarding that website security. So always check if it is HTTPS. If it is not HTTPS, you cannot proceed or you should not proceed. Still, if you have any antivirus downloaded and installed on your PC, then it is okay that you proceed further, because that your antivirus will stand between the malware and your PC, and it will not allow that malware to harm your PC, provided your antivirus is updated year by year or month by month or quarter by quarter, depending upon your payment processing. Okay, so most of the times if it is HTTP, make sure that you have antivirus. Okay, that antivirus again will block it at any cost. And second thing, if it is not, if you have not installed the antivirus on your PC and it is HTTP, you should only go for HTTPS. Rather, you stop searching on Google. That is, I recommend based on my experience of 5 to 7 years. Okay. The second component is the host name or IP address of the host to use. It's delimited on the left by double slashes and on the right by slash or optionally a colon. Okay. So host name or IP address of the host is delimited on the left by double slashes. Okay. And on the right by forward slash. So it is like HTTP colon and then IP address. The third component, the port number, is an optional parameter delimited on the left from the host name by a colon and on the right by a forward slash. Default port is 80. The predefined HTTP port, thus colon 80 is redundant. Okay, fourth is the actual file path that you want to load on your PC. Most HTTP servers will append a file name index.html for the basic introduction of their website. Okay, index.html is the basic page that will be loaded whenever your website goes live on the internet. Or index.html or index.html URLs that refer directly to a directory resource. Okay. After that, index.html, all things will be placed hierarchically. Okay, if you are web developer, you are already known to this. If you are not a web developer, I am telling you. Okay, so that is the basic thing. Index.html, it will be loaded first when your site is loaded, and hierarchically it will be having very precise folders that will redirect you to the particular location. Okay, for example, like any website, any particular website, like Amazon.com, Flipkart.com, it will be loaded with your its main page, that is index.html. Osborne.com is the same as osborne.com.index.html, and index.html, if you are not providing, basically it is that only. Java's URL classes has several constructors. Each can throw a malform URL exception. One commonly used form specifies the URL with a string that is identical to what you see displayed in a browser. Okay. Each URL class has several constructors. Each of them can throw a malform URL exceptions. One commonly used form specifies the URL with a string that is identical to what you see. URL string URL specifier throws malform URL exception. The next two forms of the constructor allow you to break up the URL into its component parts. Protocol name, host name, port number, string path. So 4 parts are done of the URL. If it is that URL does not exist, it will throw an malform URL exception. For URL, most of the important things is you have to give the exact name. Okay. If it is your website is of combination of upper and lower case, make it precise and place it correctly. Okay. Then if it is all smaller case, then put all small case only. Okay, like this. Then URL, protocol name, host name, path, throws malform URL exception. If that URL is also not existing, it will throw an malform URL exception. Another frequently used constructor allows you to use an existing URL as a reference context and then create a new URL from that context. Okay, it is really quite easy and useful. Then malform URL object string URL specifier throws malform URL exception. Now we will see the example that creates a URL to Osborne's download page and then examines its properties. Okay, so download page is here. It's URL, exact URL. Okay, then protocol hp.get protocol hp.get port. It will be displayed like this: hp.get host, hp.get file, hp.external form. Okay, so protocol is displayed. HTTP port is -1, host is Osborne, file is downloads, extension is osborne.downloads. Okay, external form. -1 port is that a port was not explicitly stated. Okay, then URL object, you can retrieve the data associated with it to access. So data can be accessed like this. It is the URL object, and its data can be associated. Data associated with this object can be accessed like this: hp dot function name, hp dot get protocol, hp dot get port, hp dot get host, and like this. Okay, to access the actual bits or content information of URL, create a URL connection object. Okay, opening its open connection method. Okay, actual bits or content information. How to get it? Using its open connection method. URL.open connection will return URL C. URL connection open connection throws input output exception. It is also throwing the exception. It returns a URL connection object associated with the invoking URL object. It may throw an input output exception. Then next is URL connection is a general purpose class for accessing the attributes of the remote resource. Okay, accessing the attributes of the remote resource. Once you make a connection to a remote server, you can use URL connection to inspect the properties of the remote object before actually transporting it locally. Okay, so first of all, what you have to do, you have to make a connection to remote server. Then you use the URL connection class to inspect the properties of that particular object. These attributes are exposed by the HTTP protocol specification. As such, only makes sense for URL objects that are using the HTTP protocol. This which attributes are exposed by the HTTP protocol specification only makes sense for URL objects that are using the HTTP protocol. URL connection methods are get content length, returns the size in bytes of the content associated with the resource. If the length is unavailable, -1 is returned. Okay, size in bytes of the content of the particular resource. So it will be in integer format. String get content type returns the type of content found in the resource. This is the value of the content type header field. Returns null if the content type is not available. It will be in string format. Long get date returns the time and date of the response represented in terms of milliseconds since January 1, 1970 GMT. Okay, time and date of the response in milliseconds since the particular time. Long get expiration returns the expiration time and date of the resource represented in terms of milliseconds in January 1, 1970 GMT. 0 is written if the expiration date is unavailable. Okay. String get header field integer IDX returns the value of the header field at the index IDX. Okay, value of the header field at the particular ID that IDX index you have provided. Header file indexes begin at 0. Returns null if the value of that particular IDX that you have provided exceeds the number of fields. Okay, it is not like if it is not available. It is like returns null if the value of IDX that you have provided in the bracket exceeds the number of fields. String get header field string field name returns the value of the header field whose name is specified by the field name. Returns null if the specified name is not found. String get header file field key integer IDX returns the header file key field key as index at index IDX. Header file indexes begin at 0. Returns null if the value of the IDX exceeds the number of fields. Map string list string returns a map that contains all of the header fields and values. Okay. Long get last modified returns the time and date represented in terms of milliseconds since January 1, 1970 GMT of the last modification of the resource. 0 is returned if the last modified date is unavailable. Input stream get input stream throws IO exception returns an input stream that is linked to the resource. Okay, this stream can be used to obtain the content of the resource. URL connection defines several methods that handle header information. Okay, so you can easily get the header information using the URL connection object. A header consists of pairs of keys and value represented as string. By using get header field, you can obtain the value associated with the header key. By calling get header fields, you can obtain a map that contains all of the headers. Several standard header fields are available directly through methods such as get date and get content type. The following example create a URL connection using the open connection method of URL object and then uses it to examine the document's properties and contents. Okay. First of all, what it does? It creates a URL connection using the open connection method and then uses that URL connection object to examine the document's properties and content. Okay, so what is the URL we have provided? www.internic.net. So open connection object URL connection is stored over here in URL connection. Then get date hp connection dot get date. If d is equal to 0, no date information, date, otherwise date, new date, and this date will be displayed. Get content type. Okay, content type hp connection dot get content type. Expiration date hp connection dot get expiration. If d is equal to 0, no expiration information is available, otherwise print the expire at date information. Okay, get last modified date, d is equal to hp connection dot get last modified. If d is equal to 0, no last modified information, otherwise last modified date is displayed. Length hp connection date content length. If length is -1, content length is not available, otherwise content length is displayed. If length is not equal to 0, is equal to content, and this is the content and it is displayed like this. hp dot connection dot get input stream object is bc, and unless end of the output is end of the input is not there, not encountered, it will iterate in this while loop and display the contents and then close the file handler, close the input stream handler. Okay, otherwise no content available. First of all, it establishes an HTTP connection to www.internic.net over port number 80. Then display several header values and retrieves the content. Okay, output is this output dependent upon the your it is output dependent upon your PC and your time. Okay, so this time is their content type test HTML expiration information is not available. Then this is the last modified date. Okay, content length is this much. Content is this internet networks information center. Meta name keywords internet network information domain description. Okay, this is the sample we have taken from this site internic.net. Okay, so you can check the information regarding any website that you want. It is your choice. Okay, while we will see the practical part of this class of this chapter networking, I will provide the same URL over there, but it is your choice. When you will run your program at your side, you can take any website as per your requirement. Okay, next, style type text CSS. This is the font family, then style head. Okay, this is the information they provided. Next is HTTP URL connection. Java provides a subclass of URL connection that provides support for HTTP connections. This class is called HTTP URL connection. What Java provide? A subclass of URL connection that support for HTTP connection. Okay, you obtain an HTTP URL connection in the same way just shown by calling open connection on the URL object, but you must cast the result to HTTP URL connection. Okay, because the object you receive is the URL connection and you will cast it to HTTP URL connection to be specific for HTTP connection. You must make sure that you are actually opening the HTTP connection. Okay, as and when needed only you will open the connection, and you make sure that you are actually opening that connection, then only you will be able to use it. Once you have obtained a reference to HTTP URL connection, you can use any of the methods inherited from URL connection. You can also use any of the methods defined by HTTP URL connection. Those are specific for that particular case. Sample methods are static boolean get follow redirect returns true if the redirects are automatically followed and false otherwise. This feature is on by default. So redirects are automatically available. Followed. String get request method returns a string represent the how URL requests are made. The default method is get. Other options such as post are also available. Get response code throws input output exception. Returns the HTTP response code. -1 is returned if no response code can be obtained. An IO exception is thrown if the connection fails. String get response message throws input output exception, returns the response message associated with the response code. Returns null if no message is available, input output exception is thrown if the connection fails. Static void set follow redirects boolean how. If how is true, then redirects are automatically followed. If how is false, redirects are not automatically followed. Okay. So it is set using this method set follow redirects. By default, redirects are automatically followed. Void set request method string how throws protocol exceptions. Sets the method by which HTTP requests are made to that specified by how. The default method is get, but other options such as post are available. If how is available, if how is invalid, protocol exception is true. Okay, so what is this method? It sets the method by which HTTP requests are made. Okay, so which method we want to set. Okay, the default method is get. By other option, post is also available, so you have to post it. You have to set it particularly if how is invalid, a protocol exception is thrown. So you can only give the get and post methods. The following program we will see that demonstrate the HTTP URL connection. First establishes a connection to google.com, then display the request method, response code, response message, and then display the keys and values in the response header. So now, first of all, import this package. It is very important. Then IO, then util are imported over here. Google.com is specified. HTTP URL connection, http.open connection, url.open connection, and convert it to HTTP URL connection. Cast it, okay? Then request method is http connection.get request method. Display response code, okay? Response code is http connection.get response code. Then display response message, http connection.get response message. Then get of list of fields, http connection.get header fields into header map. Okay, and that map object is created. Set string header field is equal to header map.keyset. Header here is the header. Display all header key and value. String key header field. For each and every particular header field, get the string out of it and display. Okay, key and header map.get specify the key and get the value. Okay, so what we did, first of all, we create a URL object, then cast it to HTTP URL connection, then get request method. Request method is displayed, response code is also displayed, response message is also displayed using http connection.get response message, then get a map list of header fields and set the set of the header keys. Okay, http connection.get header fields, then header map.keyset stored in header field, and here is the header. Okay, so each and every particular string it will display, then key value header map.get key output is shown here. Okay, so request method is get, response code is 200, response message is okay. Okay, Then a header is displayed over here, domain google.com. Key is null, value is here. Key is date, value is here. Key content type, value text HTML. Key server, value this one. Transfer, key transfer encoding, value is chunk key, chunk. Key cache control, value private. Okay. How the header keys and values are displayed, you have to notice it. First, the map of the header keys is obtained by using get header keys, so that all the information is stored into that map object, which is inherited from its URL connection class. Next, a set of header keys is retrieved by calling key set on the map. Then the key set is cycled through by using for each style for loop. The value associated with each key is obtained by calling get on the particular map. Okay. So this way we have seen multiple topics related to networking. In the next session, we will finish the chapter theory part, and then after that session, we will start the practical part. Okay. So till then, you can enjoy networking. If you have not understood any topic, you can go to the previous session, this session. You can see the video again and again and try to understand it. Okay. So meet you in the next session with the new topics. Thank you so much.